Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 17th episode of GCT Great Conversations and Talks. I'm Yasholika Rajshekar, currently pursuing my second year at GCT. It's my immense pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Ms.Monika Murugesan, an alumna of GCT, batch of 2000. I extend my warm welcome to our eminent guest speaker and all the participants of our webinar. Here are a very few things out of the many special things about our speaker. Monika Murugesan is the Vice President of Product Management at Sentient Energy. She is also an award-winning Toastmaster speaker. She teaches at states universities and is a keynote speaker at the Society of Women Engineer Events and Entrepreneur Events. Today, she'll be speaking on the topic Stepping Out of Your Comfort Zone. It's an honor to have you here, ma'am. Before moving on to the webinar, we have some ground rules. If the participants have any queries or questions, please use the chat box. With this welcome note, I hand over the session to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Yasholika. That was a really kind welcome. Welcome, everyone. My name is Monika Murugesan, and I'll be talking to you about stepping out of your comfort zone. I want to take you back in time. Let's go 10 years ago. So this was in 2011, 2012. It was a nice, warm summer. Where I live, summer is only 5 or 6 weeks long, so we make use of those every single day of nice sunny days. It was a weekend, and I wanted to take my boys to a water theme park, which is about an hour away. My husband had to work. I didn't want to skip the nice sunny day in a water park because my husband had to work. So I took my 2 really young boys, drove an hour, and went to this nice water theme park. We were having great fun. One thing I have to tell about my boys, they've been in swimming lessons since they were 6 months old baby. So my younger son was 2 at the time, and my older son was 5. They were having a blast. We went into the wave simulator, and they were having great time. And the deepest part of the wave simulator goes up to 7 feet or deeper. But my motherly instinct, my maternal instinct always kicks in. I know they're very comfortable swimming, but I wanted to keep them away from the deeper end. And they were very comfortable, but I always were dragging them behind. But at some point, I went into such a deep end that I did not know how to come back. It was 7 foot deep. It was a warm, sunny day. The park was packed. I was going underwater. I was struggling to breathe. I was drowning. Only thing I can think of at the time is my boys were so young. How will they get home if I drown today? Do they know my home address? Do they know my husband's phone number to call? If I drown today, how will they get home? There were lifeguards, but because the park was packed, they could not see me right away. I'm here today, so you know how the story ended. They found me, they dragged me out, and it was pretty embarrassing that given that young kids were swimming happily, and they had to drag an adult out who was almost drowning. And since that event, I have had tremendous fear of water. I would rather stay out of water because I felt comfortable away from water. This photo that I have here, this is from my last weekend. This is a hiking trail in Utah State in US, where the entire hike is in a river. There is no land. You are walking in the river, and the water gets up to belly deep. Sometimes, depending on the location, they said it could be deeper than that. But the reason I'm sharing that is I did not feel comfortable to go on this trail. I know my family would love this. We all love water. The previous day, I was watching YouTube videos on how deep the water goes, how to be prepared, because I didn't want to be the reason my family did not enjoy this hike. I put my fears aside, stepped into the water, went 4 miles into the trail, came back, safely. While not only being safe, I had the best time there. If I had let my fear taken over, I wouldn't have enjoyed that trail and I wouldn't have had a great time with my family in this completely water trail. So this is one example of how when you step out of your comfort zone, there is a whole another world waiting for you. Why do we stay in our comfort zone? I'm going to take you back further in time, further than 10 years, further, going back to our cave time. When we were all in those primitive times, there were dangers all around us. And our brain, for our survival, has wired us to play safe. We would never leave our tribes because when you're in group, you are safer. You wouldn't wander alone at night, or you wouldn't eat a fruit that you have never tried before. All the fear that you are facing, whether it is fear of spiders, fear of snakes, fear of heights, all those things, or the survival instincts, your brain has coded in you over those millions of years, thousands of years of keeping you alive, keeping you safe. And that survival instinct sometimes will work against us. And one of the biggest fear is also fear of change. The other reason why we try to stay in our comfort zone is that fear of failure. We always think about, what if I fail in my venture? What if I did not complete this? What if people don't like my performance? What if I take this big leap of faith and I did not end up being successful? What will my friends say? What will my family say? What will my neighbors say? What will others say? That fear of failure. If you never try, you will never know. Even if you fail initially, remember that the most resilient thing on earth is human spirit. And there is no better teacher on earth than failure. When you fail, you learn more than when you are successful right away. So when you are trying something new, you know that you're learning something new. And the other reason why we try to stay in our comfort zone is waiting for the right time. We say, oh, I want all the, in other words, we want to say, I want all the stars to be aligned. I don't want to make a change now. Everything is perfect in life. Why do you want to make a change? I just bought a house. I don't want to try this. I don't want to venture into a new business. I have a comfortable job. I don't want to go into this further studies because I already have a job. So all those different reasons we give ourselves so we stay in that comfort zone. There is no such thing as perfect moment than now. If we want to do something, we have to think about what are all the perfect things that's there. Those are reasons you are finding to stay in your comfort zone. What is stopping you from going after your dreams, your goals, or all the excuses in your head, the reasons you are making around yourself to be in that comfort zone? Excuses are the rocks where our dreams are crushed. Stephen Covey said, to achieve goals you have never achieved before, you need to start doing things you have never done before. You cannot keep doing what you are doing and then expecting the results to be something else. If you want to do something that you have never done before, or you're dreaming of something that you have never had before, you have to do things that you have never done before. And that would mean you are coming out of your routine and you're coming out of your comfort zone. I have my MBA from Washington State University, and one of the classes I had to take for the Executive M.B.A is a leadership class, and in the leadership class, we were asked to read a lot of philosophical books, and one of the books was Plato's Allegory of Cave. This picture depicts that Plato's Allegory of Cave. Plato is a great philosopher, and in this story, what he says is, if you can see my cursor here, imagine from birth, you are always in this cave. So you are imprisoned in this cave, you're tied to the wall on this cave. You can't come out of that cave and you can't look around, but you're tied in this so that you're always facing this wall. And you see shadows and you understand this is what the world looks like. You do not have any other understanding of the world because since birth you are on this cave. And after a while, one prisoner manages to escape this cave. He walks out of the cave and then he realizes there is a fire and there are people who are moving these images, reflecting shadow on the wall. And that's what the prisoners see through their light and imagine the real world to be like that. This one prisoner who escapes comes out to see the real world, and he is impressed by how beautiful, how different, and how amazing the real world is. And he wants everyone in the prison to experience it. He is going back to the cave and he's telling the prisoners, hey, there's a real world out there. I have experienced it. It is amazing. The prisoners are skeptical, and there's also one more fear, because the prisoner who escaped, he has been in the cave the whole lifetime, and when he escaped, he saw the real sunlight for the first time, so he was blinded a little bit. So when he came back to talk about how amazing the real world is, let's get out of this comfort zone, let's get out of this cave so we can see the real world, they don't want to believe him first. And the second one is, oh, look, he is impacted by the real world light that he is claiming is beautiful. I'm happy to be in this cave as a prisoner. The story goes this way, and what Plato is telling us is there is amazing world out there if we can drop our chains, come out of our comfort zone, and willing to explore all by ourselves. If we want to be the prisoner of this cave, it's up to us. But if you want to come out of that, there is such a beautiful world out there. And that's the Allegory of the Cave by Plato. It's an amazing book. And when it was part of my MBA education, I was like, why would you read philosophy for an Executive M.B.A. leadership class? But this is an amazing, simple story to show that we always have to think out of the box. You cannot just say, that's how it's been, that's how so-and-so did, or that is how it has been done in the past. As a leader and as an individual, we should always think about why things are the certain way. Why can't we change it? Why can't we push our limits to go beyond that comfort zone, what we call it, this, rather than saying it, this is how it's been, let's continue it this way. Let's challenge that and say, what if I can try something more? And that's the story from Plato. The moral is, step out of your comfort zone and there's a beautiful world out there. This picture caught my eye. It's really beautiful to say. So let's say we are putting a small rat in a jar of grain. The rat is really happy sitting, eating there. There's nothing to worry about, right? He can eat the grains. He doesn't have to step out of that. There is unlimited amount of grains according to him. So he keeps on eating and keeps on eating. He doesn't have to worry about anything. At some point, the grains are supposed to be diminishing because he's consuming it. And what will happen when the grain quantity diminishes? This rodent is going to be and a prisoner of his own comfort zone. So quite frequently, these short-term pleasures is going to lead to be your long-term traps. If you are too comfortable somewhere, you are going into your survival mode. Your skills are only as good as how you are using it. If you're not using your skills, you're losing your skills. You need to take the right action. Even though things are looking comfortable, you need to take the right action to say, hey, am I here in a survival mode, or am I getting, continuously developing my skills and I'm continuously growing? So the choice is yours. So here's an example of how you can get trapped in your own comfort zone. I don't know how many of you have heard of the hermit crab. Hermit crab changes shells through its lifetime. It finds a shell and then it stays in there until that shell becomes too small for the growth. And then once it's time for the next shell, the crab finds the next shell and then switches. So what happens there is the timing has to be perfect, because the hermit crab lives in a shell because it has vulnerable body parts. If it is outside the shell, even for any longer than it has to, there are predators waiting to attack the crab. So hermit crab does change, right, from its comfort zone to a new comfort zone, or a new shelter, I would say. And it has to time it so well that it is not exposing itself to vulnerability. So it finds a shell and makes sure it's in a safe location. So it comes out of the old shell and then it moves into the new shell. It should not take too long, because if it takes too long, someone can attack. And it should not wait too long to even find the other shell, because then this shell will be crushing its body, because this crab is growing and this shell has become too small for the crab already. And finding the right shell to switch also matters. If a hermit crab, something so small and so primitive, can make that change out of its comfort zone to a new location and time it so perfectly so it is not exposed to other dangers in the world, we can definitely do that. When we have outgrown our environment, when we have outgrown our role, whatever it is that you want to do, not staying in that for the sake it is comfortable. I know this is the best thing for me because I have lived this for so long, or thinking about there are other dangers out there in the world. I'm not going to switch out of this comfortable shell because there are other dangers out there in the world. Keeping it, planning it, and timing it so that you are making the jump at the same time you're also planning it so well that you're not exposed to danger. There is always danger, but you're planning it so you are doing your risk assessment. If a crab can do that, I'm sure we can also do that in a planned way. This question is obvious, right? Like when you are stepping out of your comfort zone, there is, what if I fail? The fear of failure is going to be there. But let's look at the bottom two quadrants there. If you do not make any attempts, you'll never fail. That's great, but there is no success applicable either because you have never done anything different. So the possibility of getting success is NA. But think about if you have tried. You will have some failures, but success is also inevitable because you have tried and you're learning and you're trying and you're learning, and eventually success is possible. But if you want to be in your safe comfort zone, you are not giving any room for failure, but you're not giving any room for success either. So the more attempts you make, the more vulnerable you are. You're putting yourself out there, trying new things. You have more opportunities to be successful. So people usually think success is a straight line, right? And you probably have seen the iceberg too. Successful people, that's just the tip of the iceberg. You're seeing only the success part of it, but all the hardships they go through, right? Nobody's success is a straight line. Everybody goes through ups and downs and twists, turns that they did not expect. There are a lot of challenges, but it looks like, yes, they are successful. Their path must have been a straight line, but it's never like that. Everybody goes through challenges. Everybody goes through some kind of unexpected failures. But the important part is picking yourself up and then keep going after what is that you want to do. So someone once said, the failure is not failure is not failing. The failure is after you fail, not willing to get up. So you have to look at, yes, I failed and this is what I learned, and I'm going to take these lessons and I'm going to go further. So that is what real success is, because there is no successful person who has never seen a failure. You have to face that failure, take your lessons, and then roll on to the next success. So when you're willing to step out of your comfort zone, whatever it is, what is that you want to do? Your dreams do come true. Your goals do come true because you're trying something towards your goals. There is success waiting for you. There is excitement when you're doing something out of your comfort zone. Sky is your limit. There is never a possibility of getting your goals if you're keeping on doing what you are doing. And you keep providing yourself excuses or reasons or some kind of valid comfort zone. Hey, this is so comfortable. This is a great job. I don't want to leave this, or this is a great position to be in. I don't want to keep trying that. There are a lot of reasons. That's the reason I started this with that evolution, right? Like, we are wired to stay in that comfort zone. We are wired to find reasons so that we stay in the comfort zone so we can keep on surviving. And do you want to be in the survival zone, or do you want to be in the fighting zone so you keep on going? The world is not as dangerous as how our cave times were, right? We have evolved. So the world, our brain has not forgotten about all those past dangers. That's why it's wired that way. But the world has evolved. So the danger that you have to stay in the comfort zone, or there's a lot of dangers out there, we can train our brain to come out of that comfort zone and then see how is that I can work towards this dream and not worry about what would people say, not worry about what if I fail, because those are all the reasons you're giving yourself. Use those fear to your benefit and then plan for it, how you can do your risk assessment. If the hermit crab can do it, we can do it. So this is something a wise man once told me, that think of your entire life, Monika, as a working day. Okay? So pretty much 0 to 20, you're in the learning mode. You're more in the exploration, learning about the world, learning about the ways things work around the world. So, and let's start from year 20, okay? From your 20 years of age, till whether you want to be working till 65 or whether you want to work till 75, it's up to you. But think of your life, your active adult life, as one working day, okay? So your day starts at 9 a.m. and every 5 years, take it as 1 hour of the day. So you can start your day right at 9 a.m., be productive till 6 p.m. or 8 p.m., however long you want to work. And you can have the entire productive day and you feel like, yes, I have a very productive day, which means you had a very productive life. And this is not just career, right? I am not just talking about career. It can be everything around your life, something and trying a new skill, being a philanthropist. We do whatever that you want to do, but tie it to, okay, so I am right now 25 years old, which means it's 10 a.m. I have only 8 hours left more in my working life, which means your active brain life. What am I going to do? So when you put your entire active adult life as one single day and map yourself where you are, you will get the sense of urgency that, yes, I have got only one life. I have to do something about it. I've got only one day in my, in your translating your life into your 1 day working day. I have to do something about it. There is nothing like I'm going to do this in the next day or next hour, next year. I want to do something about it. I want to plan today about how I'm going to do this and I'm going to get this done. And having this map no matter where you are in this chart, think of yourself, whether you are at the noon time, it's never too late. Even if it's the last 3 hours of your day, you can definitely do something about it, right? It is a timeline that depicts how active hours you have, and also it depicts about how long do you want to have this working day. But this one gave me a sense of, okay, so if I map my entire lifetime as one working day where I fit in, oh, that gave me the sense of urgency. Okay, so I have only so many hours left, so I have to be very productive with each and every hour. And the way this is mapped is, so if you are 25, the day is 10 a.m. If you are 30, the day is 11 a.m. And if you're 35, it's noon. So you have done with half of your day here, and then you have the second half of the day. This is again, like we are taking how many years of active brain power you will have to continue contributing to the society. Again, this is not only for career, it can be anything you want to do, whether it is art or hobby or other social activities. But always being cognizant of you have that one day and these many hours are left in your active brain capacity will push us to do. There is no procrastination. I'm going to plan, and I'm going to face this fear of getting out of comfort zone, and I'm going to act on it. And this mapping really helped me early on to think about what am I going to do with my career, or what am I going to do with my life, so it is sensible and useful to the society, and not just thinking about having a normal life. So now I want to urge all of you in the audience to think about, what is it that you feel, right? It can be as simple as, what is your career goal? So when I started out my career, I did not start out thinking I want to be a VP someday. In fact, I was the first woman in my family to have an engineering degree, and definitely the first woman in my family to have a working career. Pretty much everyone since my childhood, they were training me that have a great education, but you're going to be at home as a stay-at-home mother. But I wanted to come out of that comfort zone, right? I did not want to be a stay-at-home mother. I know I can contribute more to the society when I'm career-oriented, and that is a goal I set to myself when I was in my 20s, because I did not want to follow what the comfortable advice I got. And there were a lot of supporters in my family. I had to thank them for all the support they have done. And, you were one step out of your comfort zone will lead you to next step and next step. And this is a compounding effect, right? Like when you don't do something, there is nothing more to grow from. But if you do even one small step, and that only compounds, because one success leads to the next goal, and then that success leads to your next goal. So you continuously grow. So now I urge you, everyone in the audience, to think about, what is it that you feel like you're comfortable, whether it is your current job you're comfortable with, so you don't want to try a new job, or whether you're comfortable in your role that you don't want to quit and continue for your master's degree or further education, or you have fear of public speaking, or you have fear of what would your friends say, so you avoid public speaking, or you want to quit your job, start a new business, or whether you want to keep your job and do a side business, but you are feeling too comfortable in your income that you don't want to try this new venture, picking out a new hobby. Quite frequently, people don't like singing and dancing in a public. What is it that you feel, okay, I don't want my friends to make fun of me, so I don't want to do this singing or dancing. And sometimes this is very uncomfortable conversation, salary negotiation. So when you are getting a new job, or whether you are in your own role, but you're having a salary negotiation conversation with your management, people feel comfortable. Okay, I will take whatever they give me. I'm not going to do any salary negotiation. So these are all some examples that came to my mind. But I'm going to ask my co-host here to read out what you have. I want you to be not shy about what will others think again, right? Oh, my friends are in this same streaming channel. They will see what I'm typing. For a moment, forget about you are not thinking about anybody else. You are thinking about your dream. What is it that you have dreamt of, but did not take that first step and did not even say it out loud to the world because you're shy that people will make fun of you? Yasho or Pradeep, if someone has things typing, please read out to us.
So we got one response from Gautam, that's public speaking.
So something to think about, right? One thing is recognizing what is your goal, and the second thing is telling, yes, I am going to do this. And when you say it out loud, you are going to do this, you're kind of committing yourself that you want to do it, and you will be surrounded by people who hold you accountable. I will share you a story. I started out running 8-9 years ago, and maybe even longer than that. I always did short distance running. I did 12K, 3Ks, 5Ks, all the short distance running. And then I even tried, okay, let me try half marathon. How hard can it be? So I tried the half marathon. Someone planted a seed in me that I should do a full marathon. Let me tell you, full marathon is 40 plus kilometers. It's 26.2 miles. So it is 40 plus kilometers. I don't know exactly how many kilometers it is. And it was a nightmare. I did not think about I can even do it. But what I did is I held my fellow friends accountable that I do not drop out of this goal. So I told my friends that at the beginning of the year, May month, I signed up for a full marathon and I'm going to do that. And there were a lot of goodwill, great friends who were always checking on me. Hey, how was your Saturday? Today was supposed to be a long run. How long did you run? And when you have that fearless goal, yes, of course, there'll be fear, but you have to overcome that fear. And then you commit yourself that I'm going to do this. And then you tell your friends or family, whoever you think will be holding you accountable, they will be checking on you and checking, did you do your long run? Did you do your long run? And the moment I did my first full marathon and sent them the pictures, and I felt when I crossed that finish line, the happiness was amazing. You know, there's less than 1% in the world who can do full marathons. It is nothing like nobody can't do it. It is just that willingness to say, I'm going to do that and train for that and then go there and make that run. And it is amazing. When you set yourself that goal, so Gautam, when you want to do that public speaking, signing yourself for something like that, and then making your friends or your fellow coworkers calling you and checking on you to see, are you doing something about it? And then finally, when you overcome that fear, that happiness is amazing. It cannot be expressed like the caveman story, right? When you come back and tell the people in the cave, it is amazing. It's not for them to understand it unless they decide to go and experience it themselves. All right, so now it's okay if you did not share, but I'm sure everybody has something in their mind that they want to do, right? Like even when you are a student, you always have a dream job. Okay, I want to be this person, or I want to be like this role in 10 years in my career, or in 5 years in my career, or I want to get a job in this particular company when I graduate. All those things are all small goals, and thinking of that, speaking of that, and acting on that, there is no better time than now. So think about what are all the dreams that you have put aside because you felt it could be uncomfortable to do something more. There is no better time than now to act on it. Convert your dream into your goals. So just don't leave it as dreams. Then your dreams will always stay dreams. 5 years from now, it will be a dream. 10 years from now, it will be a dream. And it will be a far-fetched dream that it'll always stay as a dream and it'll never manifest into a reality. To And who can do that? Who can manifest those dreams into reality? You. Only you can manifest your dreams into reality. No one else can do it. Absolutely no one else can do it. Only you can do that. To convert your dreams into goals is the first step. And I'm going to go with my example. So when I wanted to do a full marathon, it was a nightmare. I used to struggle to run 2 miles when I started running, and then 26 miles was, wow, I did not think I could do it, right? So, but I wrote it down. I'm going to do full marathon in May, and then, okay, I have so many months between now and then, breaking down my goals into a smaller milestone. So do the similar thing of breaking down your dream into goal and a goal into smaller milestones, and create an action plan. How can your dream become reality if you're not acting on it? If a hermit crab can analyze all the risks and plan for it, we have a bigger brain and better technology to convert all our goals into action plans. So convert your dream into goal and goals into an action plan. Hold yourself accountable. Have your cell phone to remind you. Have your friends to remind you. Even use social media to that effect, right? Like, hey, I'm going to run this and check on me. I don't want to skip on my goal. And have your friend circle encourage you and push you to be the better version of yourself. And last, most important step is execute. Keep up with your action plan, execute, and keep on working towards it, right? It's not like one time you do this and then you finish it. This whole dream becoming reality is you have a plan, you execute it, you accomplish the dream, and then you, while you're doing this, enjoy every step of it. Don't wait for that one day to enjoy that. Enjoy your journey, and then once you accomplish that, think of what is the other dream that you want to accomplish. So you have a goal towards taking you towards that dream and making it into a reality without staying in your comfort zone. And that's my take on why you stay in your comfort zone and why you should push yourself out of your comfort zone, because there's a whole another world once you come out of your comfort zone, and only you have to come out of it to experience it and to enjoy it. I'm open for questions now.
Yes, ma'am. There was also another response from Surya that was a new hobby. That was one of his response for the question you asked. So do you want to talk anything about that, or do you want to go with the questions?
No, let's hear what Surya has.
So he said it's a new hobby.
That's good. Yeah. Did he say what the new hobby is?
I think we have Surya on the call too. So Surya, would you want to? Yeah, he has mentioned as book.
Hey. Hello, Monika. Morning.
Morning.
Hey, great to be here. Thanks for your wonderful experience sharing with us. I was actually, answering your previous survey. What is one thing that you are trying to get on but you're not able to, right? Which is a new hobby. Reading books. So I'm not a good reader though. So just wondering, how do I get out of my comfort zone of just reading some bites, right? Not more than a minute,
yes.
And focus on reading books.
Yes. Yeah. It's a great hobby. First of all, it's a great thing to have a hobby. Quite frequently, we fall into the routine of work and home and other unavoidable duties that we don't plan time to have hobby. It's great that your first step is to have a hobby, and a great hobby to read books. You can always start with a genre that you enjoy reading, that you don't want to put the books down, because once you enjoy reading the genre you like, sometimes you will go longer than 2 hours that you planned. You may want to finish the book before you go to bed. And then once you develop that habit of reading, then you can pick the genre that you feel it's too dry, but you want to venture into that genre of reading.
Thank you.
Thanks, Monika. And we have another question from same Surya. So how do I know that I am in a comfort zone?
Well, if you have done something you have never done before, is something you are out of your comfort zone. Well, let me give you an example of just my driving in town, right? Like, and I'm sure most of us experience this, you don't remember when you started the car, you're driving, and everybody's safe. And then you reach your destination. You don't even know. This is in your regular routine, from your home to office or home to school or whatever your regular routine. If you feel like you don't know what you did during the driving, what radio channel was on during the driving, but you just reached your destination, everybody is safe, you are in a comfort zone because you are taking the same road you've been taking for many years, many months. That's an example of being in a comfort zone where you are, even in your dreamy time, you are making it from point A to point B, and you didn't have to use all your awareness. So that is a typical understanding of, hey, I'm in a comfort zone. I'm going to try a different route so my brain doesn't go in its secondary mode of operating, but it's active. Right. And the same thing with your work, too. If you feel like even when you're half aware of what you're doing and you can do your job, it is comfortable for you. And especially when you're early in your career, I urge all of you to push to take on a different assignment, push to learn a new skill so that you are not staying in your comfort zone early in your career. Early in your career, you should be pushing yourself to do something that you're learning something every day. Keep a journal, maybe. Okay, at the end of the day, I learned something. Maybe if it is too much to keep track of every day, keep a track of what you're learning every week. Okay, this week I learned this skill, or this week I learned this particular tool. Whatever it is you want to keep learning, if you are doing the same thing over and over again, that even in your half awareness state, you can do it comfortably and beautifully, perfectly, you are in your comfort zone.
Thanks, Monika, for those insights. And yes, really taking up reading a book has always been one of my long-time desires, and I would do that. And thanks, Surya, for asking that question. We have another question: Is being in the comfort zone being greedy, like the rat in the jar, or is it cowardice?
What was the second part?
Or is it cowardice that you don't want to get out of your comfort zone?
Well, it's up to the individual, right? Like if you are comfortable where you are, definitely be comfortable. It's the choice you make with your life. Is that something you want to do, that you want to keep the same job for 40 years, 50 years? Well, our parents or the last generation lived like that, which is okay, because you find a job, you stick with the same job for the entire career, and then you retire out of that. And it's totally up to you. It's up to the individuals how they want to do. But don't dream for something that you have never had by doing exactly what you're doing, because you'll never achieve that goal if you are keeping on doing what you are doing. You have to do something more to achieve that goal.
Okay, thank you. We have another question coming in from Sundar Ganesh. He says, ma'am, what is the impact of our environment for being in a comfort zone?
Well, that's a very deep question. Impact on the environment, right? Well, I haven't put that two together. And when you are talking on impact on the environment, I'm thinking you're talking about the green energy and the better world. If that's the case, I'm going to take this question beyond an individual's comfort zone. Okay, I'm going to take it as a comfort zone of the society, comfort zone of the humankind. Okay, so we have used biofuels, coal, and petroleum energy for so many decades, right? And let's say we are all comfortable using it. Then we are going to be that rat in that jar. Someday these fossil fuels are going to dwindle. Someday we are all going to, well, we are already fighting for oil. And what will happen if you are not focusing on, I want to be out of this comfort zone. I want to find out, can I build an electric car? Right now, electric cars are one of the fastest selling cars or most selling cars in the US. And I'm sure the trend will be like that in many parts of the world going forward, because all the fossil fuel car companies are venturing into building an electric car version. And that's exactly is an example of don't be comfortable of yes, I have enough coal or enough petroleum or enough all those biofossil fuels for the next couple of generations. I'm not going to worry about this green energy. But we are coming out of the comfort zone, seeing that there is an impact to the environment, and there is a reason this we should not be using these biofuels and venturing into using natural resources or the green energy, as we say it. And that's that's an example of going beyond your comfort zone will help the environment too.
Thank you, ma'am. We have a question from Yasholika. Would you like to go on and unmute and ask the question?
Yeah. So, ma'am, so once we decide to step out of a comfort zone and start doing something, there are times when we get exhausted midway. So what do we do then?
Well, that's a good question, Yasholika. So when you are doing something new, right, like there is stress, there is fear, there is exhaustion, all those negative energies are a possibility, and you need to sense that, right? Like these are all like small stumbling points. Let's go back to when we were children, when we started to learn how to walk. Did any one of us just got from the crawling position, stood up and walked and ran without falling? No. And that did not stop us, right? We all fell, we all bruised our knees and probably got some bumps in our head, but that did not stop us. We kept walking, trying to walk, and then we eventually ran and then learned to walk after that. And that's exactly what it is. When we are wired to go beyond that and try that, because that's how you learn walking. Why, when we are adults, all those other exhaustion or fear or stress stopping us from doing something that we want to do? Recognizing that is part of it. And sometimes you will be the first one to venture into this. So you will not have someone to lean on, to ask your questions, to ask your doubts. You will be the first trendsetter in your family or in your friend circle. So you will be the one showing the light to the future generations to come. It's a little bit exhausting. It is definitely something you have to think about, but the positive always outweighs the negative. And the fear of failure or the fear of that exhaustion should be a momentary thing. You take a pause, you replenish your energy, and then keep moving forward and never letting that stop you.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. That's a really good example.
Thank you, ma'am. We have another question. In a mutual business, say where there are more people involved, say a simple example could be a marriage. How do we balance out comfort zones between partners? What is comfortable for one might not be for the other.
Yes. So Gautam, you're turning me into a marriage advisor now. So, well, that is a really good question, right? Like, because your life partner is like your best friend, and your immediate family has to be comfortable in what you're doing. It's definitely helps if your family or if your partner is not on board in your jumping out of your comfort zone and trying something new. It definitely is not easy to venture into it when you have an immediate person whom you think is your who is your best friend is not supportive of your venture. So it is definitely a great plus if that person supports and is also a person that's willing to jump in along with you. And there is a balance, right? Like there is always a give and take when it comes to that relationship. And it's up to the individuals to find that balance, finding that where is that you stop being too comfortable and where you push each other to be the better version. And the best way I can put this is your better half, your spouse, should be somebody who pushes you to be a better version of yourself. And the same thing goes the other way too, rather than dragging both of you down, each of you down to the comfort zone further and further. You have to push your spouse to be out of the comfort zone so he or she is a better version and the other person does the same thing to you. So as a couple, you both are pushing each other and being a better version of yourself and continuing to grow, and not looking for, am I in each other, or am I in comfort zone, or is my spouse in comfort zone?
Thank you so much, ma'am, and maybe that will help a lot for those who are planning or those who are going through this phase. And it's always about creating a mutual comfort zone and then together trying to get out of it. So that should be.
Yes.
We have another question. What if someone wants to get out of his comfort zone, but his circumstances come as a barrier to do so?
Okay, so this is going back to that excuses, right? Like, yes, there'll always be reasons that will present itself when you want to do something and circumstances will stand in your way. I'm not saying it's easy. So whoever is asking this question, please know that when you do not have a supportive environment, it is not easy. But when you want it, when you really, really want it, from the bottom of your heart, you want it, you will find ways to clear that barrier and go beyond that challenges that's facing you. And it makes it more fun. When you accomplish it, it makes it way more fun that you have accomplished it beyond all those challenges.
Thank you, ma'am. That question was from Sundar Ganesh. He's a student in our college in our second year. And I kind of relate to him whenever I talk to students of our college, and they say the last year has been a big struggle for them. They wanted to come to GCT to actually push their comfort zones and be independent and do something better. The COVID adds a lot more struggles. But yes, so that was a particular circumstance where there was a barrier for the students not being able to enjoy a college life or to learn what they couldn't if they hadn't gone to the college. So thanks for your take on that. We have another question from Akshaya. Ma'am, if stepping out of our comfort zone builds a better version of ourselves, how about creating our own space? Our comfort zone? Okay, shall I? I'll just come back again. Ma'am, if stepping out of our comfort zone builds a better version of ourselves, how about creating our own comfort zone?
So why would you create a comfort zone, right? Like, I'm not saying you should always be uncomfortable, right? Like, the opposite of comfort zone is not uncomfortable. The opposite of outside your comfort zone is you're constantly in a learning mode. You're constantly in a growth mode. Right. So if you are coming out of your comfort zone and creating an environment where you're constantly pushing yourself to be a better version by learning, by doing something that you are continuously challenging your brain, but you're enjoying it. It's opposite of comfort is not uncomfortable. It's just a growth mode. As long as that new environment you're creating for yourself is that growth mode, that is great because you are growing. And that's the objective of coming out of your comfort zone.
That's a wonderful take on that, ma'am. And I think the picture that we see on the screen, the dartboard itself is an example. And Yasholika has to add that stepping out of one comfort zone is actually creating a bigger one. And then you try to just expand your circles. Okay, so we have one question. Yeah, sure, please go ahead.
Go ahead. No, that's a creative way of saying that. Yep.
Yeah. So Pradeep has a question. Please, Pradeep, unmute yourself.
Yes, ma'am. So I just want to go a little philosophical. So how does stepping out of the comfort zone relates to stoicism? So because stoicism also says about, stepping out of your comfort zone, right? So can we treat this as a kind of a philosophy?
Absolutely, Pradeep. So if you think about it, right, like even if you go back how many other generations, your family history, every next generation did something more than the previous generation, right? Like if we haven't explored beyond what our parents have done or beyond what the previous generation has done in case of even inventions, we wouldn't be where we are today. So right now I'm here in Washington State talking to students all the way on the other side of the world. That is possible with this technology. And if you say that 20 years ago this was possible, yes, there were internet, but the access to internet was not there for everyone in the world. So all this pushing yourself is, you can take it as individuals, you can take it as a group of people, or you can take it as a society. We constantly are willing to do and trying to do as a society, as a big picture, want to do something more and bring some new values, bring some new innovations. And all that is possible only because you're doing something different from what others have done in the past.
Absolutely. Thank you, ma'am, for that insight.
Yeah, we have one last question, ma'am. Travel is a great way to learn and push boundaries. What is your take on that in a post-COVID scenario?
Thank you, Yashalika. That's really great. Well, I am a avid traveler. I love traveling. COVID did not stop me from traveling. I've been traveling since last July, and I took enough precautions. I kept my distance as recommended by the government, and did all the hand washing, mask, and everything as needed. I even took my family on vacations. The picture I showed you that we went, that was going by flight. We explored the entire state of Utah during their spring break week last week. And it's a personal choice. I'm not saying everyone should venture into that, even though the COVID is stopping them. There is books. Book will open up new worlds that you have never seen before, right? Like before, think of the time where, or maybe even with the COVID, let's not talk about the travel, but with the books, the new world opens up to you when you are reading. And that's another way to open up your world and thinking of new possibilities in your life until you're feeling comfortable with travel. But if you're feeling comfortable with travel, I'm a traveler. I love traveling, and you are right about traveling and new experiences opens up a new world and new possibilities for you. But until that's possible with the current situation, you can always lean on the books. Books are a great alternative to that.
Thank you, ma'am. And as we draw close to the session, we are on time, and I now request Yasholeka to give the closing credits.
I deem it a great honor to propose the vote of thanks today. First and foremost, I would like to thank Ms.Monika Murugesan. Thank you, ma'am, for this eye-opening webinar. Provided the current uncertain situations, it's important to realize the power of stepping out of your comfort zone. Thank you for reminding it's important to do things, overcoming our fears. You're truly one of kind. Thank you again. Secondly, I would like to thank our Honorable Principal, Dr. P. Tamarai ma'am, respected Dr. V. Prasannamuthi sir, Secretary of GCT Alumni Association, and all the participants of our webinar. Finally, I would like to thank our organizing team for putting together this wonderful talk. Thank you again.